What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Lord, I was going to say Salt Lake City. The Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 13, episode 7. So we start this episode off. We have Danielle and we have Rachel. We have the two newbies going out shopping because they're going down to the shore this weekend. You know, it can't be a New Jersey season without going to the shore. And Melissa's having her party, which is a luau theme. So they're out looking for luau type outfits. And Rachel was like, thank goodness that I have Danielle, because baby, being thrown into this new, this new group of ladies, one minute they friends, one minute they fighting. It's nice to have somebody that, like is new to the group too, that's kind of trying to figure it all out. Danielle said that she has not been to the shore in forever. She said she tries to avoid it, which of course is really interesting because, not to, throw out stereotypes, but you just figure this group of ladies love going to the Jersey Shore. They all have houses down there, so forth and so on. And so they're shopping or whatever, but of course they have to get into the conversation about the women. And Danielle once again reiterates how Margaret is the big bad wolf, and how Teresa and Jen warned her against Margaret, and how she trusts Teresa, and so Teresa couldn't possibly be lying because she trusts Teresa and she knows Teresa's telling the truth. And Rachel is like, girl, so because Teresa said it, that makes it gospel? She said, listen, I'm still trying to get to know these ladies, and I want to get to know them for myself. I do not want to continue to make assumptions about them based off of what other people are telling me. And so again, like I said last week, we are clearly seeing the separate parties. We see that Danielle is leaning more towards the Teresa Jen group, and Rachel, she's trying, I feel like I got lipstick on my hand. Is that, I don't know how I did that. Oh, right there. I got lipstick on my hand. I feel like she really is trying to get to know the ladies for herself, but she seems to be leaning more towards the Margaret side of things. So, because, her and Jen hit it off bad about the whole bad nose job comments and stuff. So, but I can respect the fact that Rachel is like, look, girl, I'm not joining in with one side or the other. I really am in the middle, and I really am trying to figure it out and really get to know the ladies for myself. So then we see Melissa... no, we see Teresa and I was gonna say Melissa and Jennifer, but it's Teresa and Jennifer. Teresa's going out shopping for her bridesmaid gifts, and they went to Jennifer's brother-in-law's jewelry store, and they're getting the gifts, and it was cute. It was a cute little moment and all that good stuff. And of course, they had to get to talking. And listen, let me tell you something. Let me go to my notes because I watched this a couple of days ago. Sorry that the review was late. Yeah, I've been a lot. This is what, and I wrote Melissa again. I don't know why I was writing Melissa instead of Teresa. But here's what irritates me. So Teresa is saying that she's upset they're going to the shore, and why wouldn't Melissa and Joe invite her to stay at their house? She said, I can't believe it. I mean, if they say they really want a relationship and they're really trying to build a relationship, why wouldn't they invite me to stay at their house? Like, why would they invite Margaret? Why would Margaret be staying with them? First of all, y'all went to the shore last year. You didn't stay with your brother and sister last year. So if this was an issue, why didn't it come up last year? If this was a problem or concern, why didn't it come up last year? Now all of a sudden you worried, you mad, and you in your feelings because you said that they didn't invite you to stay with them. Y'all are barely on speaking terms. Why would they invite you to stay at their house? First of all, if they've never invited you before, or it's never been an issue before, why is it an issue now? And number two, even if y'all had stayed together in the past, the fact that y'all are not in a good place and y'all are not on good terms should really explain to you why y'all are not, like, that should be a no-brainer. But here we go, Teresa creating a moment, Teresa. And again, don't get me wrong, I think Joe and Melissa have their fair share of playing victim as well. Like, because I think both sides of this story have their faults. But here's one situation where I don't think this is on Joe and Melissa. Like, you're turning this into an issue and it wasn't an issue. And like, you literally, and then you literally say later on in the episode that either they've never invited you or you've never stayed with them. So again, you're creating an issue where there isn't one, just for the sake of trying to make them look like the bad guys. Now again, they do a good job of that on their own, but let's be clear, like, girl, so I'm not going for that. Then of course it turns to Margaret. Oh, they must. Why would they invite Margaret to stay with them? Margaret must have something on them. So Margaret again is the big bad wolf. She must be blackmailing Melissa if Melissa is offering her a place to stay over them. If I remember correctly, where did Margaret stay last year? Because Dolores usually stays with Frank. Last year Jen rented a house and Teresa stayed with Jen last year. Jackie, and I'm almost certain Margaret stayed with them last year. Now, if I'm wrong, y'all put it in the comments and tell me I'm wrong. But I'm almost certain that Margaret stayed at Melissa and Joe's house last year. So, again, why are we acting like this is brand new, like this stuff fell out the sky or something? It is ridiculous. So, anyway, everybody's getting ready to go to the shore. You know how they got to show everybody packing and this, that, and the other. Now, the only interesting part of this packing situation was Dolores and Paulie. Paulie is still recovering from his surgery, so he's not coming. And at this point, it does look like if I were the people on the show, I would feel like Paulie was like purposely avoiding filming with them. But we see that he legit had a medical situation. He legit had surgery, and he's still recovering. And because you see him talking to Dolores saying that he's still a little sore or what have you. Now, could he have gone down to the beach house for a couple of days? He probably could have. I mean, how much energy does it exert to go sit, but again, we're not talking about a regular trip to the beach. We're talking about filming. We're talking about movement and activity, and it's a lot. So I'm fine with it. First of all, I like Paulie, and y'all know Dolores is my favorite. So yes, in my bias, probably a little bit, but I could definitely understand how Frank and maybe some of the other guys might feel like this is him trying to avoid them. So then we see Jennifer and Bill packing. And once again, listen, this is what I can't stand. I can't stand irrational people. Like, I understand that you want your husband to have your back. I 100% understand that you want your husband to have your back. But here's what I don't understand, and here's what irritates me. What I don't like is when you want him to blindly just follow you. Now, I'm a firm believer of support me publicly, correct me privately. I'm a firm believer of that, right? But in that moment, y'all are private. I mean, the cameras are there, but y'all are private. So Bill saying, look, I think maybe you were being a little irrational. I think maybe you did a little too much. I don't think that's an issue in that moment. Like, I really feel like, I don't know. I think what you want from Bill is ridiculous because you do too much sometimes. You are over the top sometimes. So I think what you want is just a bit much. Anyway, moving on. Everybody gets to their shore house, their respective houses. We find out that Jennifer has purchased a shore house because, of course, she has to have one because she has to, and it looked like they bought the first thing that came up on the market because they're literally on the boardwalk. It's a townhouse and they're on the boardwalk, and whoever sold it must have been in a bad situation because they literally left the furniture, they left everything. And she was like, well, I'm not going to put that's fine by me. It's no need to be putting a whole lot of money into this. I mean, yeah, because you're only going to use it when you want to film and when you want to, like, be a part of the crew. So you're not even gonna you're not even gonna buy no new furniture. Like, she said she bought everything, sheets and all. Who the hell does that? Like, I understand furniture. Okay, cool. Who's sleeping on somebody else's sheet? I don't give a damn how many washing machines. Now, I know. Let me put a pin in that because I know what y'all gonna say. You do it when you go to hotels. You do it when you go to Airbnbs. You're absolutely correct. I do. But when I purchase something that belongs to me, I'm gonna purchase some sheets. Now, I get not buying furniture. Okay, I'm going to give you that. But I'm going to purchase some sheets. Anyway. Y'all know that the Gorgas house is the fun house. Like, they're all there. Joe's got a archery set, like a Nerf archery set that he's hitting people with. And, just being Joe. Like, just being silly. Of course, they've already started drinking and all that good stuff. Now, Jen Fessler is staying is Jen staying with Rachel? I think Jen's staying with Rachel. Jen's confessional, Jen Fester's confessional this episode was cool as hell. And she talked about her husband. She said, we don't really get a chance to see her husband, but she said, when he gets away from work mode, like, he is a party animal. So I don't know if that's getting us ready to see some things later on down the road. I don't know. Dolores shows up. So I believe, Teresa and Louis are staying with Jennifer Aiden. Jen Fessler and Dolores are staying with Rachel. And then everybody else, I think, is staying at Melissa's house. Okay, so that's how the houses are split up or whatever. Let me get to my notes, child. Teresa never stayed. Margaret confronts Teresa. Okay. All right, so they get to Melissa's party, right? Like I said, the rest of this is just them, everybody settling in at the different respective houses or whatever. So, we get to the luau. We get to to Melissa's house. The luau is beautiful. Melissa always hires a great event coordinator. They always put together a great event. Like, it's all good or whatever. What we find out, well, actually, before the party, what we find out is that at the baseball game, Teresa invited Marge Sr. to the wedding. So, of course, that pisses Melissa and Joe off all over again. You mean, what? She invited your mom, but she didn't invite my mom? How could she do that? How could she do that? Again, I think y'all keep forgetting something. It's Teresa's fucking wedding. And from my understanding, y'all know I haven't been looking at New Jersey from the season 1, but from my understanding, your sister and your family, Melissa, have had words with Teresa in the past. So again, if Teresa is in her bubble of happiness, her love bubble, why would she invite people in that have caused her problems, or in her mind have caused her problems or issues? She barely getting along with y'all. Y'all barely got an invitation. Y'all still mad that she didn't invite your mama and your sister, but now you mad that she invited Marge. Well, maybe she ain't never had no beef with Marge, even though her and Margaret barely getting along too. But maybe she like Marge Sr. So again, it's an issue. Of course, they're mad all over again about it. Then they get to talking about Danielle, because Jackie got this thing crawl up her ass about Danielle. I don't know what Danielle done to Jackie or vice versa, but she does not. So they get to talking about the situation with her brother. Now, I will say this. I agree with them. I do think it's more to this story with her and her brother. I feel like this. The final straw could have been her blocking him on Instagram and how things were down on Instagram. But I firmly believe that something happened prior to that. I firmly believe that their relationship maybe has been built on sand, and that was the final straw. I do not believe that they had a strong relationship. They had a strong friendship, a strong brother-sister bond, and that was the final straw, that y'all would not be talking for years at a time. Now, let's be clear. Me and my brother, we have gone, when my brother was still alive, we had arguments, and there were times when I'd be pissed off at him. But for me to go 3 years without talking, I feel like there's more to that we may or may not have already been privy to. Now, that's just my opinion. So I agree with them when they say, hey, it's more to this story than what we're getting. What else? That's when Teresa was telling them that she's never been invited to stay at the Shore House. Okay, so let's roll on down to we're at the party. Everybody's showing up, and again, party looks beautiful. She's got a cigar roller there. My cousin, it's not our family reunion. It's like the closest thing we have to a family reunion, because we don't really have like a formal family reunion on my mom's side of the family, really on my dad's side of the family either. But on my dad's side of the family, we probably just don't get invited. That's a whole nother story. I'll tell y'all that one day. But on my mom's side of the family, we don't have like a formal. But my cousin over the last couple of years has like taken it upon himself to have these every summer, these big family cookouts. He gets t-shirts and it's a whole thing. But he always has a cigar roller. Okay, let me get back to the story. So, again, the party looks nice. Everything is cool. So, Joe decided that he's going to haze Rachel's husband, because remember, Rachel's husband bought the diapers to the first men's night that they had, and so he got a hair waxing kit, and they're going to haze him up later on in the day to initiate him into the little guys group with with pulling the hair or whatever. That was interesting. Then we have I'm not going in any particular order because it was a lot that just happened at the party. Dolores and Frank get into it because, of course, Frank is still in his feelings because Paulie doesn't want to play with him. Because that's what it really boils down to. It boils down to the fact that you have been able to infiltrate yourself into every relationship that Dolores has had, and Paulie is not allowing you to do it. Paulie said, listen, we need to create healthy boundaries. Like, I understand and I respect that you're the father of her children, even though they grown, and I would respect your place in her life. But we don't need to be friends. We not boys. We not cool. We not going to be boys. We not going to be cool. I've set healthy boundaries. So, no, I don't have no problem with you. I don't want to be your friend. And Frank wants that relationship with him that he had with the doctor and then maybe even other people. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's a combination between Paulie being who he is, saying, no, I don't want to be your friend, and maybe even Dolores having a conversation with Paulie saying, listen, it was a very uncomfortable situation for me that Frank got to be so close with my ex. They may have had a conversation about it where, you know, and Frank was like, fix it, Dolores, fix it. She was like, what do you mean fix? There's nothing to fix. I've already told you. I don't know what you want me to fix. I don't know what you think I need to fix. I've already told you. This is the situation. And that's what it is. Like, there's nothing to fix here. And Frank is really in his feelings about it. So then we see Margaret talking to Rachel. And, of course, Rachel is telling Margaret what Danielle said. Like, about, you know, Teresa saying to watch. Well, no, not what Danielle said. Because Teresa said it to Rachel at the Barbie party. You know, well, you need to... You know, you need to just watch your back. You know, you don't want Margaret as an enemy. You need to be careful with Margaret, this, that, and the other. So y'all know Margaret confronted Teresa, and Teresa was like, what? You know how she does that dumb look when she gets confronted with something, and she's like, what? I mean, we've all done stuff, right? Teresa, that ain't what you said. And that ain't how you said it. You didn't say, well, look, all of us can be a little feisty when we feel like our back is against the wall. All of us have had some bad moments. You were specifically warning Rachel about Margaret. That wasn't about, oh, well, you know, all of us have moments. All of us have had bad. No. Don't play these. You playing games, Teresa. You playing games. No, this is not about all of us having moments. So, of course, now Teresa is looking stupid, and she's trying to play it off like, well, I mean, we've all had our moments. We've all had our moments. And Margaret was like, I just don't appreciate that. Like, I thought we made up. I thought we cleared the air. Why would you still be running around bad-mouthing me if me and you cleared the air? Now, while this is going on, Jennifer and Bill are getting drunk. They're taking shots, and both of them are getting drunk, right? To the point where Bill ends up crawling around on the damn ground while they're supposed to be playing limbo or doing the limbo. And Jennifer is mindlessly wandering, getting closer and closer to the end of that damn, getting closer and closer to falling in the damn water, whatever. But of course, that's a playback to them trying to turn Jennifer into a whole raging alcoholic 2 seasons ago. And she may have a drinking problem, I don't know, and I don't care. But her and Bill was drunk off their ass, okay? So, all these different things are happening at the party, right? And even while Teresa and Margaret are trying to have their conversation, the guys are getting loud because they're taking shots, and she's like, they can't even film. So that lets you know when there's a real party going on while they're trying to film, because usually they tell everybody, okay, be quiet while we film this scene. Like, that's why a lot of times y'all see people look like they're dancing off beat, because they're not playing the actual song that they're dancing to, because it's probably copywritten, and they probably don't want to play and have to pay for it, whatever. So anyway, then towards the end of the evening, they do end up doing the hair with the guy, which is, look, if y'all like it, I love it. If that's your idea of a good time, then y'all have a good time with it. And Rachel was cool with it. She was like, I've been trying to get him to shave his chest for years. Like, so it was all funny games. They were all drunk. It was a lot. So then they get to talking about Danielle, right? Jackie and the ladies are talking about Danielle. And listen, I'm with Danielle. I feel Danielle on this, and I'm with Danielle. Danielle says, well, before I get to Danielle, let me rewind one more thing, because that was sort of the end of the evening with Danielle. Louis, Teresa, and the crew are talking about Melissa's mom not being invited to the party, and you know the fact that they invited Marge Senior. And Louis was like, well, I actually talked to Melissa's mom. I actually apologized to Melissa's mom for her not being invited. And Teresa was like, you did what? He was like, yeah, I mean, I really feel like we should invite her. Like, I really feel bad about her not being invited. And Teresa was like, you could see she was pissed. Like, Teresa was pissed. And she was like, I mean, I understand Louis is a peacemaker and all of that, but honestly, I feel like this is something we should have talked about. And I really didn't appreciate the fact that he kind of took it upon himself to invite her. So then we see Louis literally go looking for Melissa's mom, because of course she was at the party, to invite her. And of course everybody's happy, everybody's cheering it on, and Teresa is livid. And I don't blame her. I do not blame Teresa for being upset about that, because again, if this is a decision that I've made about my wedding, you don't get to change it without a conversation with me. Regardless of how irrational you might feel it is, regardless of how bad, wrong you might feel it is, you don't get to just change your mind about who's coming to our wedding without us having a conversation about who's coming to our wedding. So I understood where Teresa was coming from on that one. Even if people might feel like it was irrational of her to feel that way, I understood where she was coming from. So then we get to the Danielle piece of it. So I'm with Danielle on this one. Danielle literally could hear her name in conversations. She didn't know what they were saying, but she could hear that her name was being said, right? Well, then so Dolores was letting her know, look, okay, right. Like, so your name did come up, and people are just kind of questioning the story with your brother. Like, people just don't understand. Like, and Dolores was kid glove in the conversation, because she didn't come right out and say, girl, they think you lying. But she was like, well, people, they just had some questions. You know how Dolores can be. They just had some questions. And Danielle was like, this is pissing me off, because I shared something with people. I opened up myself to people, and I told them about something personal about me. And for them to be questioning it or questioning my version of the story, she said, what I said is true. Now, when she was on Watch What Happens Live, she said the same thing. She said, there's nothing more to the story. It is what it is. She said, and I really don't appreciate the fact I keep hearing my name in conversations that I'm not a part of. Now, I'm with Danielle. 100%. And Danielle said, let me tell y'all something. What you don't know the old me. You know the new me. You know the mommy me. You know the I'm trying to do right me. You know the I'm trying to live good me. That's the me that you know. You do not know the old me. You don't know the old me, and the old me is really ready to whoop y'all ass. So before it becomes a situation and I become the storyline for the rest of the season because I done smacked one of y'all hoes, I'm going to leave. So she told her husband she was ready to go. And because she's staying at Jennifer Aiden's house with Teresa, she said she ready to go. So Jennifer Aiden and Teresa was like, well, if you leaving, we leaving. Like, we came together, we going to leave together. And baby, they ended up leaving. And it was a whole situation. And Danielle was on that Sprinter mad as fire. And I'm with her on that one. Y'all know I try to be fair. Whether I like somebody or I don't like somebody, I look at situations individually. And I'm with Danielle on that. I'm literally standing right here. If you have a problem with anything I have done or said, whether you agree or disagree with something I've done or said, I am standing right here. Don't be over there passive aggressively be having a conversation about me. And I know I heard my name. Anyway, that's the episode. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.